Hey everyone, we've obviously just checked out in our previous video the two new cameras from Canon. Dave is still with us here. We've got two of your new super telephoto lenses.
Yep.
I mean, just tell us about them. They're obviously very different from anything we've seen previously from you.
Yeah, so these are, as you mentioned, they're super telephoto lenses. You've got 800mm here and you've got 600mm here. So these have the ability to bring that subject super close. What are these all about? These are all about being as small, lightweight and portable as possible. So yes, that's an 800mm lens.
That's pretty mad.
So to use it, you extend it like that and off you go. You can start shooting. Now, as I mentioned, these are all about being really portable. Great for those holidays. If you're doing that safari or something like that, you do a lot of walking, these are the kind of lenses you want to take with you because you'll have that ability to use them when you're out and about. And obviously they're so much smaller than the 5.6s or the big lenses that we have. Now, with these ones, they are F11.
Right.
Okay, and they're fixed at F11.
Is that going to put some people off, do you reckon?
Well, if you want to photograph, say for instance, high sports like a motor racing in November in the UK, this isn't going to be a lens for you. You're not going to be able to get those fast shutter speeds to give you that, freeze that motion. But if you like doing bird watching, or if you've got that holiday, you know, there's just mentioned that holiday, you're going to Africa for 2 weeks and you want to take an 800mm lens with you, you can either take the 800-5.6, which is like this and about was it 12,000–13,000 pounds, or you can take a lens like this with you, which is really small, lightweight and portable. Now, with the R5 and the R6, their autofocus systems do work at F11, so you will still get autofocus with this.
Nice.
You'll have to remember as well the ISO capabilities of these modern cameras. You can go to these high ISOs and still retain amazing image quality. So having, shooting at F11 isn't maybe the handicap it used to be sort of 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. And also with electronic viewfinders, even with the F11 aperture, the viewfinder is still nice and bright, so you can still see exactly what you're shooting and make sure you get those nice images.
Obviously 600 and 800mm is quite a long focal length. I can see the 600's got image stabilisation on the side, which is obviously really good. I can't quite see on the 800.
Yep, they have, yeah. They've both got image stabilisers built into them. The 600mm has a 5-stop IS built into it. Right. The 800 has a 4-stop image stabiliser built into them. And if you couple them with the bodies with image stabilisation, you obviously get an improvement there as well. So yes, they both have image stabilisers and they both work really well at those long focal lengths.
Obviously a white lens here, something very well known to your series of L series lenses. 100 to 500. Tell us a bit more about it. So
this is our latest RF lens, obviously designed to go on our R series, our mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. Now this one, as you mentioned, yes, is a 100 to 500mm. Think of this as very similar to a 100 to 400 that we have in EF. Now it's almost the same size as the 100 to 400. It's also slightly lighter than the 100 to 400, but this one goes to 500mm. And this is one of the benefits of the mirrorless technology. It enables us to create these lenses that give you more focal range, but in a very similar size to what you would have previously. Now, it's an F4.5 to F7.1.
Okay.
So the aperture isn't quite as wide as what you get on the 100 to 400, because that goes to 5.6, but we are giving you another 100mm. And also, 7.1 is actually 2/3 of a stop. It's not even a stop difference.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so you get in. So when you go from 100 to 400mm, you're getting somewhere. So the 400 is about 5.6, and then when you go to 500mm, you're losing about 2/3 of a stop, but you are gaining that extra 100mm.
And that's a
which
big
I think
difference.
Is great.
Yeah, that's a lot in the focal terms.
And with the increase in ISO these days, 2/3 of a stop is not a great deal to actually to have as a compromise to get yourself to go to 500mm. It is an image stabilized lens. It is a 5-stop image stabilizer, and once again that will work with our in-body IS on the R5 and the R6 to give you a very high performing image stabilizer system.
So the final and last of the new lenses that we've got here is the 85mm
F2.
Very nice.
So yeah, to give it its full title, it's the RF 35mm F2 MACRO IS STM.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. catchy titles.
Yeah.
So this is an 85mm, obviously once again for the RRF, for our R series cameras. This is an F2, so we do make an 85 at the moment, but it's an F1.2. This is significantly smaller and significantly lighter lens, very, very small, lovely little lens to use. It's essentially a macro lens. So it's quite similar to our F1.8 macro that we have in EF, although that was designed in 1992, and this is obviously the latest generation of optics and design here. The big difference between the EF version as well is that one's not image stabilized, whereas this one has an inbuilt image stabilizer on it. So it's designed to be a macro lens, but also a beautiful portrait lens. The macro capability is half-life size, and you can get to within 35 centimeters of your subject, so you can get really, really close to it. But the portrait side of it is where I think this lens is just absolutely beautiful. The background blur, the bokeh effect you can get from this lens is beautiful. So it's just as versatile, I think, for doing portraits or weddings or something like that as it is for macro shooting.